Hi, my name's Kevin. This is an open message for Jay Bhattacharya. Jay, I was a huge supporter of yours. I don't think I've ever been as happy for a political appointee as I was when you got the role at NIH. But if I'm being honest, I don't think I've ever been as disappointed in a political appointee as I am right now with you. We just need to understand what's going on with your decision making. I mean, appointing somebody like Jeffrey Taubenberger to head Fauci's old role at NIAID is nothing short of an idiotic decision. This is a guy who was involved in reanimating Spanish flu of 1918 and splicing in modern flu virus genes in with it. Just insane experiments. And, saying that he wants to do the same thing with viruses from the Middle Ages. I mean, that is a window into that dude's mind and a powerful signal that he belongs nowhere near public health, especially in a post-COVID world. I mean, he called people concerned about those experiments the complaining crowd, and he did that in an email to Peter Daszak and David Morenz, of all people. After COVID, he's also giving op-eds with the same crew saying that COVID has a natural origin. And he's all over the emails of, Peter Daszak and others. Why did you reward him with a promotion to, I think, still the highest paying job in the US government? At least Fauci was. How does somebody like that get rewarded for that kind of behavior? Surely there's an explanation for it, but so far you've only given like a tweet saying that you and Jeff talked and he's aligned with your vision of ending gain-of-function research. Come on, man. That's not enough. I think that you're trying to appeal to the hearts and minds of, Fauci's blob at the NIH and trying to win them over. You need to know that that is an impossibility. When you have a town hall and you lightly mention that COVID possibly came from a lab leak, and dozens of your employees get up and stage a walkout in your face, that's a signal that you're not going to win these people over. And I mean, your reaction to that was you were kind of taken aback and you say, oh, isn't freedom of speech nice? I mean,
and if that's true, it's nice to have free speech. Welcome, you guys. If it's true that we sponsored research, that caused a pandemic,
that's one way to respond to that. But another way to respond to that is to go, oh, those people in 2025 staged a walkout when I mentioned that COVID possibly came from a lab, which is something that everybody knows at this point. All of those people should be fired immediately. They belong nowhere near public health. What were their roles during COVID? Were they in the FOIA office? Were they part of the grant approval process? I mean, you can't be this naive to think that you can win these people over, is what I'm saying. And yeah, you owe us an explanation as to why your NIH is indistinguishable from Francis Collins' NIH, for example. That's another thing. Like, I was reading an article where you ran into Francis Collins and you forgave him. I mean, this is a guy who, in addition to trying to take you down or sicking Fauci on you in an op-ed to call you a fringe epidemiologist, right? In addition to that, he's all over the COVID cover-up emails. And your impulse is to forgive him? Like, this guy should be subpoenaed and referred for criminal prosecution. And you can forgive him way later, but now is not the time. The bigger picture here is that there was a lab leak that killed 20 million people and caused $30 trillion of economic losses and disabled millions more. I myself have been disabled by COVID, which is embarrassing. Before 2020, I was playing hockey all the time. I was in the sun. I was at the gym. I had a robust social life. I was traveling. I had a good job. And I get COVID and I just never get better. My life gets fucking obliterated. I mean, I can't remain upright for more than about 10 minutes a day before my heart spikes up to 136 BPM. And My brain fog is obscene. I could go on for 30 minutes about my symptoms, but my life has essentially been ruined, and there are millions like me, and millions who have taken a vaccine that had the same thing happen to them, and they've had no help, and no help from their doctors, no help from you guys. And at root, it's from idiots playing around in labs with viruses, enabled and encouraged by other idiots like Francis Collins and Anthony Fauci. These guys do not deserve forgiveness right now. You can forgive them in your heart, that's fine, but right now, these people need to have their records subpoenaed, and they need to be referred for criminal prosecution. And everybody who helped them out at your agency deserves the same. That's what accountability looks like. That's what reform looks like. Again, help me understand the difference between your NIH and Francis Collins' NIH. Because I go to Grant Reporter in 2025 and I look and I find somebody like Christian Anderson, who was involved in the propaganda of COVID origins, and his co-author Bob Gary. These guys are still getting grants in 2025 from you. Colorado State University, who partnered with EcoHealth Alliance after the pandemic, trying to get a bat lab to look at dangerous viruses, all the while having a piss poor biosafety record, just accidents everywhere. You're giving them money in 2025 for virus research. What the hell is going on? And yeah, all the while, those people who walked out on you, and people like Patricia Conrad, who set up teleconference calls and emails with Fauci and Christian Anderson and Jeremy Farrar, those guys are still employed, but yet people who are actually concerned with gain of function studies, people like Bryce Nichols and Ed Hammond and Alex Washburn, those guys are the ones who are fired, or their contract ends and that's it. And you need to explain this, and preferably you should do so by talking to a reporter, maybe like Emily Kopp, for example, but you're ducking her. You won't give her an interview, but you'll give Science Magazine an interview. Science Magazine, who actively pushed propaganda and junk science, trying to dupe the public into thinking that COVID was natural. Those are the people you're giving interviews to. Why are we the ones putting in the most effort still in trying to get records from NIH? Why are we the ones trying to get accountability for COVID crimes? You should have a team ready and willing to do that. But again, the only people who matched that description were fired. It's obscene. So I'll leave it there. I wish you well. I wish your family well. And I'm still a fan of you. I just think that your performance has been god awful. Hopefully you take this into consideration and course correct. And I gotta go lie down now because my symptoms are flaring up and I have brain fog and can't think. So all due to people playing with viruses in labs and who are not facing any consequence for their actions.